So what's going on, guys? My name is MrDalekJD, and that is right, my friends. We finally have the third and final part in the Jason Blundell interview. In this one, we talk about custom game modes and old fan favourite perks and weapons returning, as well as going quite deep into asking some questions about the intro cutscene for Shadows, as well as Nero's book. I know you've waited a long time for this, and we finally have it, but if you guys have missed part 2 or part 1 of the interview, that will be linked down below in the description and on screen. Make sure to check that out before watching this part. But if you enjoy it, make sure to drop a like rating on it. Thank you so much for your amazing support and hype around this interview. Hopefully I'll be getting another one very, very soon for DLC 4. But enjoy, my friends. This is not the end. There'll be more to come very soon.
Yeah. Will we see any throwback perks return at some point, like we've seen with weapons like the PPSH? Or maybe even more throwback weapons?
Will we see that? I will answer with a non-definite by saying I love throwback stuff, and
okay.
I love the fact that we have a plethora of options that we can bring back in again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't guarantee anything, but I do enjoy doing that.
Would it be a never say never?
Another
way of saying never
say never. It's the longer version of never say never.
How many are we on now? 3 or 4 never say nevers now?
Here's the thing, when I say that line, it's because, apart from previous times when I've done it,
yeah.
but it's because of a genuine interest in that stuff. I do like that stuff.
Okay.
So I'm not willing to confirm it, but it's more expressing the fact that I enjoy that stuff, and if the opportunity was right and it seemed to fit with something, then I'd absolutely do it. Okay. And that's a wonderful thing. When you've made a game for this long, you can just retire stuff and then bring stuff back, and the fans enjoy that. So. To contrary belief, I do enjoy the fans enjoying it. So,
because people probably think Jason does not like any of this throwback stuff. He's never going to give us PhD flopper. God damn it!
They always talk about that. Yeah. I love bringing that stuff back.
Good.
But again, it always has to be correct for the map.
Yeah.
Correct for the combinations of stuff, the physicality of stuff.
Right.
That's the limiting factor. Like it's all just sitting there. I have all the assets still, but it's about, do they work and
make sense?
Does it make sense, right? And sure, can you swap one out for the other? And people would say, yeah, that's great. That's why we have teams of designers who spend time worrying about these things.
Yeah.
They look through it and say, this is what we're recommending. And sometimes the moment say, oh, please get me this kind of thing, or please do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But their job is to be looking at it and design and make spaces and make gameplay that is appealing. And if we're trying to experiment a certain idea or concept, they'll say, well, do you want this or do you want this? You know, and that's the kind of creative art. And I'm very blessed with the fact that we have a very talented team here who, you know, spend tireless hours working all this stuff out.
Yeah.
You know, I get the easy job sitting here talking to you. Those guys, they do the real work down there.
Good answer. I'm sure people will still be disappointed though that it's no PhD flopper.
I mean,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that such a loved one, was it?
I guess so. I guess it's just the most memorable.
Yeah.
Because at the time it was just so different.
Yeah.
For a perk. Just jump and cause an explosion.
Yeah.
I think they like that more than the actual no explosive damage, which I thought was maybe a little too overpowered.
Sure.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Some people are probably going crazy in the comments right now. Just like, how dare you say that?
Is it because they could do such a was it dolphin diving?
That's it, dolphin diving. In Ascension, in that little, like, we're near one of the landers, just dolphin diving off the staircase.
Right.
Just like round 50, just jumping off, never using a weapon.
Yeah.
Right, next question. And this is a community one.
Okay.
Have you ever thought of adding more game modes into zombies than just the core survival? Because Black Ops 2 did have Grief and Turn, and I will admit they didn't quite work. To me, they felt almost like beta stages of a game mode.
Yeah.
Has that ever been? I'm sure the thought must have crossed your mind at some point.
Yeah, big time. I am a huge advocate of extra game modes. I have not found a way, and I'm glad that you put it that way, because I've not found a way of bringing something through that I've been happy with yet.
Yeah.
I love.
So the camera's just died for the 50 billionth time, so we're now on an iPhone. So the question we were talking about was new game modes,
Yes.
or bringing back old game modes, or just having more than just the standard survival.
Yes.
And how we said, well, in my opinion, it felt like the ones in Black Ops 2 were really too basic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think zombies would really benefit having another mode, but like you mentioned before the camera died, it's actually really hard to think of something that actually works and makes sense.
And here's the thing, right? So, and I think the comment I said before the camera died, which was, zombies is a continual experimentation.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that about it. You know, very few situations in game development allow you to truly just play continuously in a, you know, very much, let's experiment with this, let's experiment with that.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan, mentally, spiritually, however you want to describe it, of a different game mode, different game modes, different ways of taking this formula and looking at it.
Right.
I just haven't found a way for something that I'm really behind. Like, there's, and I think I said it either in this interview or in previous interviews, that I love playing with little things. We'll try something and then let it go, because you might find something in there that then advises on the next thing.
Yeah.
But when you talk about a game mode, in my mind, it's so significant that it's not just throwaway. Like, if I was going to put a game mode in, I want to be able to stand behind that. I don't want to see it through.
Life.
Yeah. So I've not, until this point, been comfortable with something. That is not to say I'm not trying.
Okay, interesting. So maybe like 3 years down the line, whenever we get Black Ops 4.
I just think there's definitely different mechanics. We've been playing with that through this whole season and previous seasons as well. A game mode just is a fundamental reimagining of how everything sits together.
Yeah.
And I've never been happy that it's sat in a way that I felt was extendable, and there's lots of different ways. And I've seen lots of different things and they've been fun. But I've got to think, well, okay, am I willing to do that for 3 years plus another year? And is it going to have a life beyond that as well?
Yeah.
Or is it just this mode that people sometimes enjoyed or didn't? Like, it's got to have longevity to it. And to have longevity means it has to hit certain criteria. And I've just not been happy with it so far.
Okay. And that makes a lot of sense. Like, because people are just like, we want grief, we want turn. But thinking, like, realistically and logically, it doesn't, like, as fun as they were, they don't have a good lifespan. Like,
you can throw grief and turned in like 2 minutes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's really easy to do.
Yeah.
The mechanics are all there. It's very straightforward to do. I just, you know, if you're talking about where energy's going and the progression of the mode, and I would ask the community and the people who say, oh, I just want it, you know, would you rather have our energy kind of polishing and refining and trying stuff out to kind of move the whole main bit forwards? Or do you want me, you know, divert? Because it's always a resource game. How do you want to, where do you want to put energy to? Because even though I say 5 minutes, and by the way, that's very director on me. It takes 5 minutes, right? Fix it in post, right? But it takes people. People have to sit down and work on that stuff. It has to be QA'd. It has to be, you know, it has to be worked out. So, I want to find a mode where I can stand behind it and I can evangelize it and we can integrate it and it all sits together. And I'm super into those, you know, that exploration. I just haven't found anything yet that I would stand behind and want to have the team stand behind. But the moment I do,
we'll see it.
People will be the first to know.
Okay, great answer. Last 2 questions. We're going to wrap this up.
Sure.
And these are ones could be good or could be rather silly.
Okay.
And the others probably very juicy.
Okay.
So in the Shadows of Evil intro cutscene,
yes,
we see the characters being introduced, and we see Jackie Vincent.
Yes. And
he's holding a wad of money.
Yes.
And it doesn't quite belong in the time setting of Shadows of Evil.
Okay.
I made a video on this.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if this was just a little error or if there was any actual significance. I got a little bit of flame for it.
Did you?
Yeah, a little bit. People were like, you are going crazy. No. Because some people are like, is Jackie Vincent a time traveller? And that just says it all. No. So, what's going on there?
I will say a ridiculous thing in return. I would say people are being too strict with their mentalities of time and space and universes.
Right. Okay. So,
like it's really funny. Like, sometimes people, just to kind of go off on a side anecdote. Sometimes people say, you know, the Rise and Dragon, I cannot believe that castle was damaged in that way, or this thing was happening, whatever the line is. That is totally unbelievable. I'm like, you do know you're in a world with the undead running around.
It's zombies.
And with bows firing magical I find this unbelievable, right? I'm saying you have to be able to lose yourself in the fiction and the narrative of the world to be able to understand what is real and not real. And what is plausible and not plausible. So when it comes to Shadows of Evil and the type of denomination and money type in there, you have to first of all put yourself into the mind of what am I actually looking at to be able to understand whether that is a thing out of time or perfectly in its place.
Right. So it's more like looking at zombies in general, it's pretty crazy, and details like that shouldn't really be too fixated on.
No, I would say that if you understand the narrative and the things being told about any point in time,
right,
and the larger story, then these decisions will make sense.
Right. Okay. So I was a bit of a silly goose to say he's a time traveller.
I think you might be going a little bit far on the time traveller, but I stand by the visual aspects there.
Okay.
But maybe the wrong conclusion is being reached.
All right.
But, you know, if you start to take into account what is being taught about, like what is Shadows, where is Shadows, what could possibly have happened for Shadows to be there and what's going on in there, then the elements there should make sense.
Okay. Leading on from Shadows.
Yes.
We'll go on the last question. And I feel this could be important.
Okay.
I'd like it to be.
Okay.
Now, in Shadows, we learn that Nero has a book.
Yes.
This book is really rather interesting.
Okay.
And there's several quotes. One of them, for example, is Jessica, when she's like talking about blah 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 from 2 millennia, blah blah blah. Will we ever see more of that book, or and ever learn how that exists? I think it's so important that if it's never brought up again, it's like, what?
Let me give you this one.
It's gonna be one of those, is it?
It's gonna be one of those.
Yeah.
I really like books, and I think everyone should really like books.
Okay.
And books and the importance of them, I think will be a reoccurring theme in our zombie story.
Okay. Because right now I can think of a few other books that I've seen. In Der Eisendrache, where the purple bow thing that rises out of the ground, there's a book on a table there. There's like other books just lying around. I think we'll leave it there. But guys, if you've enjoyed this marathon of an interview, we're not even sure how many parts this was. It was really, really long.
Was that really, really long?
It was really long, but there was a lot of good stuff in there. And Jason, I've got to say thank you so much for
Absolute
that.
pleasure.
It was absolutely amazing. Guys, if you enjoyed, give the video a like rating. Feel free to subscribe to me. And also, if you've watched any previous videos where Jason may have insinuated to unsubscribe from me, please don't, because you may miss out on stuff like this in the future, and you wouldn't want to miss out on stuff like that.
I was kidding on the previous ones. Subscribe.
Resubscribe.
Resubscribe. Come back to John.
Please come back.
Yeah.
It's a nice place here.
Yes.
Yeah. And you may find out many things to come.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you for watching, guys, and we'll catch you on another one very, very soon. Bye.